Social media is now part of our daily lives. Our cell phones or gadgets is now part of our necessity. Even we don't accept it, or maybe most of the people just don't see how their lives is so affected in so many ways just by staring at their screen. The government can manipulate the democracy and can easily spread fake news, and a lot of people will believe it. It doesn't matter which is true because people keep making their own way of sharing what they think is true. And if this certain people has a lot of followers or believers, like politician or even artist or a trendsetter, it will be easier for them to make a vast majority of people to support. Based on the documentary, it says that in Twitter, the false news can spread 6 times faster than the truth. And the problem is that the people don't realize how people can know the truth if they just believe what they mostly read and see, which are lies. People nowadays will only read and see what they believe in. It doesn't matter which is true because people keep making their own way of sharing what they think is true. And if this certain people has a lot of followers or believers, like politician or even artist or a trendsetter, it will be easier for them to make a vast majority of people to support them. After watching the documentary, it makes me realize how big is the impact of the social media to people, nations, and the whole world. Social media is more danger than safety, especially when people doesn't know how to make their lives normal without it. And most of the people are the Generation Z, or what they call the millennials. They are the one who grew up using gadgets instead of playing outside, and seems like their lives is already controlled by the algorithm. But of course, it's not going to be entirely their fault if their parents is the one who exposed them to social media at the very young age. There are online wars, and we can't stand together as one to stop or fight it. I don't think this will ever change. Also, I learned that everything that's too much could lead to something negative. If we want to live normal life, let's practice to be more observant and focus within ourselves. Because everything we think, say, or do might have consequences for ourselves and others. So we need to remember that our actions are irreversible, and consequences are where thoughts and actions meet reality. The social dilemma tells us that many social media companies succeed by capturing as much of our attention as they can, then selling that attention to the highest bidders. As the saying goes, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. I guess what it means is that if you are using a website or application for free, and some owner is paying to keep it going, you have to figure out that the owner will be selling your data. Facebook is the prime case in point. So, is that necessarily a bad thing? Well, I think it is up to us. If we cannot stop our addiction to social media, yes, it would lead us to something negative. So I believe the one key is to minimize using social media if it is not important. Of course, Social media has many advantages in our lives. It keeps us together, especially the people living abroad, afar from their loved ones, and it also helps businesses to run effectively. It also helps in investigating crime. But remember that social media, as the documentary mentioned, the Twitter can spread fake news 6 times faster than the truth. So I think the key point is to make our own research, and also do not let the social media manipulate us. Self-discipline is very important.